This evening, minibus and vendor relocation causes several issues. Border market vendor killed during suspected robbery. Neighbors of local hotel angry over alleged intoxicated bottle throwing from guests. In the region, Brazil's Workers' Party nominates jail ex-president for presidential bid. And internationally, Swedish Muslim woman wins handshake discrimination case.
From Safe TV headquarters in South Bradford Gardens, this is Safe TV Headline News with George Gonzalez.
Today is Thursday, August 16, 2018, and this edition of Headline News is now being streamed live on Facebook and YouTube. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. The day that many parents and students have waited is almost here. Tomorrow, the Ministry of Education will release the results of this year's Caribbean Secondary Council examination and the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency examination. According to the superintendent of the examination within the Ministry of Education, Sadia Kadir, 12,266 candidates were registered to sit the CSEC examinations this year, while 923 candidates rode the Cape. And tomorrow night, Headline News will feature an interview with one of the nation's top performers for this year. Late last night, a border market vendor died shortly after being shot and robbed in front of his stall. Shamar Allen brings us more.
A cheese vendor who was shot during a robbery on Robb Street between Border and Alexander Street has succumbed to his injuries. The victim has been identified as 45-year-old Troy Romaldo, also known as Rasta, of Lot 11 North Road, Lazytown, Georgetown. Police reports indicate that about 23 hours Wednesday evening, Romaldo, who was operating a food stall in the border market, had just closed his business and was awaiting a taxi to take him home when three males, one brandishing a handgun, attacked him. The gunman, according to a witness, fired one shot at the victim who fell instantly. The other two suspects then stole Romaldo's jewelry and quickly fled the scene. Shortly after, he was taken to the Georgetown Public Hospital in an unconscious state. However, he died whilst receiving medical attention. The body is presently at the hospital's mortuary awaiting a post-mortem tomorrow. No arrests have been made at this time. Nonetheless, an investigation is in progress. For Channel 2 Headline News, Shamar Allen.
Thanks, Shamar. First Lady Mrs. Sandra Granger today facilitated a tour of State House for a group of members of the Grace Prayer Center International. The First Lady welcomed the excited bunch, giving them historical facts as she took them to various sections of the building, including the conference room and the credentials room. There was also a short program held at the Bidari Benab, which saw dances and singing by members of the visiting team. President of the organization, Pastor Barbara Franklin, expressed gratitude for the opportunity to tour the State House. She said, quote, "We normally have an annual camp during which we choose some places within the city to take the youths because we come from the hinterland. So this year we chose the State House, which was a great experience because none of us had ever had this opportunity." Persons living aback the Regency Hotel on Hatfield Street complained of drunken hotel guests repeatedly throwing empty bottles into their yard. In this report, Wendell Jeffrey tells us that last night, the neighbors decided that enough was enough.
I talked to the guy. I had the guy who in charge. The guy take out wait. Tell somebody come a 20 minutes gone. This person can't come who in charge yet.
Nobody can tell you nothing.
Nobody come here to tell me nothing. You see, every poor people retaliate back and do things. You hear? The poor people bad man can't break that police station. You only the poor and get locked up.
I live in at the back there. I'm not for all of you living at the back there. But my house is direct at the back there. Right? And I was fixing the light, coming like the on and off. And I tell me that to go sit on the table with the tablet. All I hear is buckle break. So I tell she come inside because the thought was the neighbors that pelted. But when I listen to this idiot over here, the buckle, the bricks are coming from.
The residents from Leopold Street, Georgetown, said that last night, some drunken guests from the Regency Hotel began pelting empty beer bottles into their yard.
It's like they be drinking. Why you come out that time?
This happened about the fifth time.
People went no break up and all these things.
What's your name? Where you live?
My name, I live right at the back behind on Leopold Street. My name is Bernard. This man went to the break. Come to the pelt, broke me by clothes. I want to tell me something for me front light for me by.
So who's doing the tenants or the hotel people?
The hotel people carrying us coming there. We tell them drink at the back of the pool. And many of the liquors go to the mayor or one of them is pelt over the back. They got no people living next door.
The residents who lived immediately behind the hotel said that the pelting of the bottles into their yard is a recurring event.
The first or the second. I want to break going me out.
You get hit with something.
Yes, so I open the door and I come out. A break come from the house, stop straight to me. So I pull him back around. When I come out now, I said, must be when I look wrong, look back. It's over the pool, a break come again, but fourth time, and I run back in, and I see my son run. Okay, I just put in army trying to sleep, and they run out the house. And if you see break, I can't do nothing else, I run through the gate.
The irate resident said that the pool is situated at the back of the hotel, and it is from there that the bottles come.
The pool at the back, no people out, stop then. Anytime they could bust people, we are full with children.
Channel 2 Headline News visited the hotel and asked for a comment. No one wanted to go on record. One of the managers said that it is the residents from Leopold Street who were doing the pelting. Channel 2 Headline News asked to be shown the evidence that the residents did pelt bottles into the yard of the hotel. The hotel management refused to provide the evidence. Last night, Channel 2 Headline News went into the yard at the back of the hotel and we saw broken window panes and broken bottles that the residents said was the act of the drunken patrons from the hotel.
This is the second time it happened to me. The first time, in front of the Shire plants at the back, Pabo back, I go myself over and I talk to them. They never come round at the back and look after what they do to me place. I couldn't walk here, right? Now again tonight, my husband left and go in the toilet. They start shining down again, breaking up plants at the back, and my son got motorbike there, right? And nobody coming over and they getting no satisfaction.
People don't want to know, we come and get everybody. All the market things that damage wrong, then we want the things back, that's all we want.
For Channel 2 Headline News, Wendell Jeffrey.
Thanks, Wendell. Don't go away. Coming up after the break, rehabilitation of Stabrook Market displaces vendors and minibuses. But first, here's today's foreign currency exchange rates.
For the latest in news from Guyana, the region, and beyond, visit our website, headlinenewsguyana.com.
Guyana, the PNCR presents its After Congress Rally this Sunday, August 19th at the Stabrook Market Square from 6:30 p.m. Come out and see who are the newly elected executive that will take the party into the future. Main address by His Excellency, President David Granger. Live performances by Kwesi Ace, Nutridig Dance Group, Samuel Madaz, St. Cuthbert Mission Dance Troupe, and much, much more. Music by Ground Vibes. Remember, it's the PNCR After Congress Rally this Sunday, August 19th at the Stabrook Market Square from 6:30 p.m. PNCR, better together for a brighter tomorrow.
Need a ride around town and beyond? Look no further than Oasis Ride Taxi Service. With affordable prices and some of the best drivers in the business, we've been delivering prompt and reliable service to Guyana for over 16 years. We also offer tours, chauffeur service, and even car rentals. You can call us at 231-5554 or 225-5496. For deals, specials, and more information, find our page on Facebook. Oasis Ride Taxi Service. Let's go.
The night you have been waiting for is finally here. Heavenly Light Maka presents Tasha Cobbs and her band live in concert. Now on the 14th of September at the National Stadium, 18:30 hours. Redeemers Band, all-women worship band, Sean Sobers, Sean English, Dominion Dancers, and many, many more. It's Tasha Cubs and her band live at the National Stadium in Guyana. Tickets $2,000. Come experience the presence of the Lord as we worship the King together.
This is what shopping used to be. More plastic bags than I could carry or I could use. They always end up in the bin or as unsightly litter. Then it hit me. Get just one reusable bag. Now whenever I shop, I don't use plastic bags. I always have my reusable bag. It makes shopping a lot easier and it's better for the environment.
Use one less disposable plastic bag. Make the switch to a reusable bag today. For more information, please call us on 226-2189 or 227-8429 or visit our website moc.gov.gy. A message from the Ministry of Communities in collaboration with the Inter-American Development Bank.
Back. After almost 2 weeks without a proper park, the Route 42 minibus drivers have finally been given a temporary space to ply their trade. The Mayor and City Council has designated the length of Bugle Street as its place. However, in this report, Wendell Jeffrey tells us that the move came with a few hiccups.
George, as a result of the deplorable conditions at the back of the Stabrook Market there, the vendors have to be relocated. The stelling back there, that whole area is deteriorating and falling apart. And so the city has made a decision to relocate the vendors, and they're relocating them where the 42 buses used to operate. But that in itself is causing a lot of problems.
I've been speaking with Commander Chapman, and he has advised me that they are working with us to ensure that this particular temporary bus park works. And this is exactly what we're doing. So I ask you to cooperate with us so that we can get on with our lives.
We plan to collect $200 from each bus drivers and buy the 2 lights and the bulb for put here so the place could be for the night. Right? So from tomorrow we'll start collecting the $200 and put it in your hand for we to get we light and for security.
Every time we security, we're not talking about patrol. We talk about permanent security being here hour on the hour, every hour.
That is what we need.
Because you know when the cat's away, you know what has happened.
We are re-establishing the traffic unit in the Constab department, and that unit will be at work beginning from tomorrow. Remember, we are working to ensure that all of our citizens get a chance to make a living, and this is what this is all about. This is about sharing this space in a disciplined way in order so that everybody can get an opportunity to put bread on the table for their children, their grandchildren.
My Vigilance Assistant Superintendent of Police, I'm the person that in charge of traffic, A division. Now, on Monday, myself and the town clerk, Mr. King, went out here and we decided that we were going to relocate the 42 minibuses. That is Grove, Friendship, Moko, in this area. We also plan that we're going to put street lights and we will have patrolling on a regular basis.
My opinion, put us back there, the vendors go back at the 41 bus park presently and put back them to the old bus park. That's the only solution I see.
Let them have their plate mover from at the front there, and everybody will be able to come down here, and then the work will flow freely. No, I don't have a problem, and many of us don't have a problem, but that's all we want.
Judge, right now the situation is very chaotic, but what they're hoping is that eventually they'll put some chains on the outside of the buses, and so it will be a situation with force in, force out. The buses will come, and in an orderly way they load and they exit. Right now they have some folks running what they call the hot plate, where they're loading behind the line and going away with the passengers, and the guys who want to be in the line and who want to be organized, they're complaining. So they're hoping to put some chains that will keep the buses in an orderly manner. They load force in, force out. There'll be no touting on this park here, and the town clerk is hoping to have a system in place where if this works out, that this can be replicated at the other bus parks. Also, they're hoping to get where they're preparing for the vendors, they want to get that place ready in another 3 or 4 weeks to receive those who will be coming across from the Stabroek market because of the deplorable conditions that they have going on back there. They're removing them, they're bringing them to the front, and that is the reason for this relocation that is going on here with these 42 buses. And they're saying in another 3 or 4 weeks that should be ready, and the vendors will come and take their new positions, George.
Thanks, Wendell. Police are investigating the circumstances surrounding the death of a male Vietnamese national whose lifeless body was discovered around 19 hours yesterday. The body of 32-year-old Nguyen Now An was found in the compound of a construction site where he was working and residing. The site is located at Track J, Durban Backlands, just north of the Chinese embassy. A laceration was seen on the back of his head. The body is presently at the GPHC mortuary. A post-mortem is expected to be performed tomorrow. 2 persons are in custody assisting with that investigation. Yesterday, Town Clerk Royston King announced that the temporary space for Stabroek Market, soon to be displaced vendors, is almost ready for use. Here again is Wendell Jeffrey with more on that story.
We have over 99 vendors, our legal tenants on that facility, whose lives are in danger. As a responsible council, we couldn't just sit idly by and do nothing.
Town Clerk Royston King was yesterday addressing the relocation of the vendors from the dilapidating Stabroek market.
That facility is a council facility, and therefore we are fully responsible for whatever happens there. As a result of that, we've decided that we will relocate those vendors who are in harm's way to a portion of this reserve west of the Parliament building. As a result of that, we've had to shift those buses who are plying the 42 route to Bogle Street. And as you see, we're in the process of preparing this road for resurfacing so that we have an agreement with the cars that usually do the short drops to come here in 2 lanes, and there's some other conditions to which they've agreed that we will work with them.
The town clerk said that the square has a rich history that the city will preserve.
This particular spot, particularly in the area where you have the cobblestones, has a very rich history. This area was the area used by our colonial masters when the slaves were brought off of the ships. They were placed here, and if you look, you will see that wall. They were chained to that wall, washed, and prepared for auctioning on the other side of this reserve. We will not disrupt the cobblestones. We will not cover it over. We will repair it where there are depressions, and we will preserve it. And once we are able to relocate the vendors from here, after we will have relocated them, we will then use here to create a special monumental park that would allow us to promote the history of this particular area. We're looking at an initial cost of between $7 to $10 million.
The city's chief constable, Andrew Fo, addressed the issue of pickpockets and other types of blue-collar crimes.
In terms of the constabulary and the Guyana police force have been working within our area, and in keeping with that, we've noticed a decline. What you find is that in terms of these acts are committed There are 3 periods that we've identified. That's in terms of early in the morning, between 6, possibly 7 o'clock. You have in terms of the afternoon hours when persons tend to come off of work. And then you have in the evening around 6 o'clock. That has been, those persons tend to commit the act, on persons who may not be aware.
The town clerk said that he could not say how long this relocation will be in place.
I was just on a temporary basis, but I couldn't say how long they will be here for. Because remember, we have agreed that we must find proper accommodation for the vendors. And once they're relocated here, we wouldn't want to shift them again until we find proper accommodation for them.
For Channel 2 Headline News, Wendell Jeffrey.
Thanks, Wendell. Don't go away. After the break, Venezuela exiled Supreme Court charges Maduro with corruption and Queen of Soul dead at 76. But first, here is this week's Bridge Retraction schedule, sponsored by Forbes Vulcanizing.
Guyana, the PNCR presents its After Congress Rally this Sunday, August 19th at the Stabroek Market Square from 6:30 p.m. Come out and see who are the newly elected executive that will take the party into the future. Main address by His Excellency, President David Granger. Live performances by Kwesi Ace, Neutral League Dance Group, Samuel Madas, St. Cuthbert Mission Dance Troupe, and much, much more. Music by Grand Vibes. Remember, it's the PNCR After Congress Rally this Sunday, August 19th at the Stabroek Market Square from 6:30 p.m. PNCR, better together for a brighter tomorrow.
Wouldn't it be nice if we didn't have so much waste to dispose of in the landfill? Well, composting can help us reduce the waste we dispose of by turning our organic waste into compost, which can be used to improve the quality of our soil.
Composting is very simple and convenient. You can compost using organic waste such as vegetable skins,
or fallen leaves and cut grass and put this in a composting bin or pile. Compost can help your garden grow healthy plants
while reducing your volume of waste. It's a really good way to keep our communities clean and healthy.
So, let's all start composting our waste.
Find out how easy it is. Call us on 226-2189 or 227-8429 or visit our website moc.gov.gy. A message from the Ministry of Communities in collaboration with the Inter-American Development Bank.
The night you have been waiting for is finally here. Heavenly Light Mako presents Tasha Cobbs and her band live in concert. Now on the 14th of September at the National Stadium, 18:30 hours. Redeemers Band, All Women Worship Band, Sean Sobers, Sean English, the Minion Dancers, and many, many more. It's Tasha Cobbs and her band live at the National Stadium in Guyana. Tickets $2,000. Come experience the presence of the Lord as we worship the King together.
Need a ride around town and beyond? Look no further than Oasis Ride Taxi Service. With affordable prices and some of the best drivers in the business, we've been delivering prompt and reliable service to Guyana for over 16 years. We also offer tours, chauffeur service, and even car rentals. You can call us at 231-5554 or 225-5496. For deals, specials, and more information, find our page on Facebook. Oasis Ride Taxi Service. Let's go.
Welcome back. Now here's George Gonzalez with the regional and international headlines of the day.
Today's regional and international news is sponsored by Top Notch Auto Sales. Top Notch Auto Sales, located at 145 Regent Road, Georgetown. And in regional news, Venezuela's opposition-run Supreme Court in exile has sentenced President Nicolas Maduro to 18 years in prison for corruption. The court, convening in Bogota, Colombia, also fined Maduro $35 billion for legitimation of capital and another $25 million for corruption. The court is not recognized by the current regime. However, it has disqualified the president from politics for the duration of his sentence and asked that an international arrest warrant be issued. The case was brought by former Venezuelan public prosecutor Luisa Ortega, who fled to Colombia after she was fired by Maduro's loyalist Constituent Assembly. That legislative body was set up by the government over a year ago amidst months of violent street protests that left 125 people dead. Maduro's right-hand man, Diosdado Cabello, president of the Constituent Assembly, mocked the decision. Brazil's Workers' Party has formally registered jailed former President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva as its presidential candidate. But the prosecutor general immediately filed to invalidate his candidacy as his conviction was upheld in January. In Brazil, no one convicted of a crime upheld on appeal can run for office. That law would rule Lula out from running for the presidency in October. However, exceptions have been made to the law before. Lula is currently serving a 12-year jail term for accepting a bribe. He was convicted of receiving a renovated beachfront apartment worth some $1.1 million as a bribe by engineering firm OAS. He denied wrongdoing and said his conviction was part of a plot to prevent him from returning to power. And in international news, Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul, who became the first woman inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, has died in Detroit at the age of 76. The legendary singer was diagnosed with cancer in 2010 and announced last year she was retiring from music. Known for hits like Respect and Think, she had more than 20 U.S. number ones over a career spanning 7 decades. She gave her final performance last November at a gala in New York held in aid of Elton John's AIDS Foundation. And finally, a Swedish Muslim woman has won compensation after her job interview was ended when she refused a handshake. 24-year-old Farah Al-Hajj was applying for a job as an interpreter when she declined to shake the hand of a male interviewer for religious reasons. She instead placed her hand over her heart in greeting. The Swedish Labor Court ruled the company had discriminated against her and ordered it to pay 40,000 kroner or $4,350 in compensation. While handshakes are traditional in Europe, some Muslims avoid physical contact with members of the opposite sex who are not related to them. Channel 2 Headline News, George Gonzalez.
Thanks, George. Here's your 3-day weather report. And that's Channel 2 Headline News for this Thursday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to find Channel 2 Headline News on Facebook, YouTube, on our website, headlinenewsguyana.com. You can also tune in tomorrow morning at 6:30 for a rebroadcast and Monday evening at 7 for more news. For now, I am Baby Backus signing out from your newscasting. Thank you for staying tuned and do have a blessed evening.